Okay, and we're back. Okay, and back to the issue at hand. So, always wear gear, guys. I'm telling you, like, even in states where you aren't required to wear a helmet, I wear a helmet no matter what. So, jacket, yes, I've not worn a jacket a couple times before I bought this mesh one, just because it was crazy hot and I wanted to ride, but I would recommend it either. So, gear isn't going to necessarily prevent you from breaking bones. It can, if you're not going like crazy fast or something. But trust me, road rash is worse than breaking bones, in my opinion. Road rash feels like somebody spilled a vat of acid on your wherever the road rash, in my case, my legs. And then when I took a shower, it felt like somebody had a flamethrower pointed at my legs. It's not fun. Breaking bones isn't fun either, but it doesn't hurt as bad, in my opinion. And as long as they set it correctly and it's in a cast, I wasn't really in much pain. The worst was bruising and the road rash. Road rash was so bad. I do not want that shit again. It's awful. I'm not talking like, going 5 miles an hour, 20 miles an hour, doing some wheelies and falling off. You get some cuts and scrapes, I guess you could call that road rash. I'm talking like, your freaking skin came off, you're bleeding like crazy. It's bad, and road rash is not a joke. Now, my accident, I was doing 45. I slowed down to, I think they said like 34 or 35, 36, somewhere around there. Which, considering how little time I had, to say this road right here coming up, I was right here when she pulled out. And I slowed down from 45 to 35, 10 miles an hour in like a second. So yeah, I think my biggest problem was I slammed in the back brakes a little too hard so they locked up, and locking them is not going to stop you as fast if you don't. So just a little tip. I've avoided a lot of accidents as well. One in particular that was probably the highlight of avoiding accidents. I was going down a road just like this, one lane on each side, but there was houses on both sides, and I was probably going a little too fast. I think it was like 25, and I was doing like 40. But I don't know, it might have been 30. Either way, I was doing 40 miles an hour, and this guy's on the opposite side of the road. I'm going on the right side, going straight. He's on the left side, going, away from me. But he's like, so if you could see the speed limit sign, I was right here, and he decided to turn into his driveway. I was like, what the fuck? And then instead of continuing into his driveway, which if he did, I would have had to slam my brakes, but I wouldn't have done anything. He would have made it in there, and I would have went my weird way. But he stopped in the middle of my side of the fucking road, I guess, again, after seeing me. I don't know why the fuck people do that. Continue on your shit. Don't just stop. What the fuck is wrong with you? You will freak out, I guess, when they're driving. They're just dumb. They don't have any experience other than the normal everyday shit. I've gone and I've never legally on racetracks and drifted cars, but I've drifted cars in my spare time in parking lots like that. I've done reverse 360s and all kinds of stupid shit that I probably shouldn't have done them, but whatever. But I have a little more experience than the average person. Plus, I've been riding for Jesus Christ, it's probably been let's see, 32, so In 4 years, it'll be 20 years that I was riding. So 20, 19, 18, 17, 16 years I've been riding. And even before that, I was riding four-wheelers and dirt bikes and shit like that, off-road and with my friends' houses and properties and stuff like that. But officially riding, like on the road with my license, has been 16 years. So I have a lot of experience. But this guy apparently did not. He stops on my side of the road, and what he does is sits there and looks at me. I had a split second to react, and what I did, hold on, let me make sure this is recording on the camera. So I ended up locking the rear up on purpose. When you lock the rear, your tire starts hitting, and you can like push it. If you move your weight from one side to the other and kind of like push your knee against the bike and like push it, like physically push your bike, you can, let me set my trim real quick. You can slide the bike. Now, I've never done that at that speed before, so I probably slowed down to like, I don't know, 28, something like that. I ended up locking the brake, pushing my bike, sliding it around the car, like I drifted a sport bike around this car. It probably looked like I was a fucking professional to hit a guy. And then once I got around him, I let go of the brake, and then the bike obviously is all over the road, like the rear tire is going like this. If you can see it, I don't know. It's going like all over the place like that. And a lot of people freak out and don't know how to handle that, so they hit the brakes or they let go of the gas or something like that, and that makes it worse. What you have to do, and what I did, is I cracked that gas, full throttle, just as hard as I could, and what the bike wants to do is continue going straight. If you have enough torque and enough power, that bike will continue going straight again if you do that. Trust me, I know it's scary, but that's the honest truth. That's what really happens. You go, but obviously this bike doesn't have enough power. I'd have to downshift like this. If I did that, I would have had enough power to pull out of it. I'm in fifth gear doing 55, like fifth gear is like nothing on this bike until you get to like 65. I wish this bike had a sixth gear, but it doesn't. But yeah, so I know it's scary, but it's a little another tip for you guys. If you guys get one of them tank clappers where it's going back and forth like this, just crack that gas and it'll go straight. Don't hit the brakes. If you hit the brakes, you're wrecking. 100% of the time, you're wrecking. Another ambulance today. Be a busy weekend, Sunday here. Yeah, but you know, just little things that I've learned over my long time riding. And like I said, I was 32, and of those, I've probably been riding 22 of them, actually riding. And of those 22, 16 of them I've been riding legally on the road licensed. So I have a lot of experience riding, almost as much driving. What's funny is I think I got my motorcycle license before I got my real license. Hilarious to me. I just love riding. I love motorcycles. I love dirt bikes, four-wheelers. They're just fun. So much fun to me. Like, especially with this bike, yeah, I understand making a SuperMoto is fun and all. You can do a lot of cool stuff in the street, stunts and stuff like that. But if I see something, I'm riding down a road, I'm like, oh, there's a trail. I could just jump off the road and go down that trail and have fun. I mean, you can't do that with 90% of the bikes out there. Sport bike, you're gonna wreck it. A SuperMoto, like my brother has, or that KTM I did a review on, you have a chance of being okay. But the tires you put on them is gonna be your mistake. They're meant for the road. They're a lot more slick. They're not like these. If you haven't looked at my bike review, I'll leave a little info card for that as well. I got knobby tires on it. They call them 50/50. but they're more like geared towards the dirt. They're more like, I guess like 60-40, 60 off-road, 40 road. They call them 50-50, but I don't think they're 50-50. So, yeah, I just suggest having fun. If you haven't gotten a bike yourself, your first bike, honestly, I wouldn't recommend going with those like little Kawasaki Ninjas, 250s, 300s. So yeah, they're a great starter bike, but you're gonna get real tired of them real fast. They don't have enough power. Like 60, and you're like revving the shit out of that engine. So not fun. I would suggest an older 650. Like, it depends on what you want. If you want a sport bike, get like early 2000s 650. You're pretty good. 600, 650, and you'll be happy with that. You'll probably ride that for a couple years before you get tired of it. And if you want a Harley, you're gonna want at least a 1000. It's different. A 1000 sport bike is pretty fast. A 1000 cruiser, Harley kind of thing, they're not that fast. It's set up differently. Yeah, the CCs are bigger, but it's more torquey. It's not really meant for speed, like going crazy fast. Yeah, I'd recommend the lowest ever would be something like this, like a DRZ 400. And this is a 2018. It's brand new when I bought it. I bought it right off the showroom, right off the floor actually. It was the last one they had. I love it. I've ridden, my first bike was a Suzuki GS 650L. It was a 1987, 86, 87, 88, right around there. And I had a blast on it. So that was a cruiser, but it was like had the engine of a sport bike. So it was fast, and it could do wheelies, man. It was nuts. I remember one time I was riding with a passenger, and I took off from a side street to get on the main road, and I gunned it, and the front came up a little bit. And my passenger wasn't there ready for that, and he almost fell off. Like his legs were like right here, like right in front of me, like in my handlebars. I was like, oh shit! So I grabbed his leg and I pushed it down with one hand and let go of the gas with the other. And I was like, oh shit! It was really funny. Of course, I got like what the fuck? They yelled at, like, it was funny to me. Nothing happened. Obviously, they were okay, but that was my first bike. My first official bike. I rode like a little Kawasaki 300, 86. I think it was like Kawasaki ALX 300 or something like that. That thing, I hated it. It was so slow, but it was cool because it was revved to like 14,000. It was nuts. It revved to 14 on the RPM gauge. I was like, it's crazy. But you're going like 40 miles an hour. You're like, 40. I got the Suzuki. I had a blast with that. That's when I had the major wreck-in. And then with the money I got from the settlement for the wreck and everything, I bought, I think it was another Suzuki, but it was like a 91 Suzuki GSX 650. It wasn't the Gixxer. It wasn't the GSX GSXS. It was just GSX. That was a lot of fun, but it was older, and I had carb issues, so eventually I sold it, and then I bought a 99 Honda SuperMoto 996. It was a beautiful bike. It was like candy red, and it had brand new plastic. The person that I bought it from just put brand new plastic on it. It had an ever so slight valve cap, so I ended up buying it for dirt cheap because I pointed that out to him. He's like, oh, no, it's fine. I'm like, trust me, it's got a valve tap, and it's going to need, like, you know, at minimum $600 worth of work to fix it. And I knew I could get at least 2 seasons out of it without working on it, but I wanted a good price. But he wanted, like, I want to say, like $2,800 for it, and I ended up getting it for, like, $1,400. I talked that motherfucker down. I was, like, 25. The kid was, like, 19, maybe 20. So I talked him down. I was a salesman. I love that bike. My dumbass sold the bike because my car broke down and all I had was a motorcycle. And I was like, well, what if it rains? I didn't have any rain gear, nothing. I was all worried about it. And I let my fucking dad talk me into selling it to get a car. So I sold it for actually like $2,000 or something like that. So I ended up making money on it, and then I bought the car. And I was like, oh, man, that sucks. And then I actually didn't have a bike for like a year or two, which made me sad. I always rode my friends' bikes and stuff, but I didn't have a bike. I was like, man, this sucks. And then I bought this, brand new. I was looking at the bikes online, and the DRZ400S, they wanted like 25 to $3,000. I'm like, I can buy a brand new one for like 5 or 6. So for another $1,000, $1,500, I can buy a brand new one. Fuck it. I went and bought a brand new one. And when I got there, they're like, oh, we don't have any. We just have this one left on the floor. I was like, I don't care. I want it. And I actually got it for a little bit cheaper because it had a couple scratches on it for people, you know, walking around it, jumping on it. Normal wear and tear from the showroom shit. But yeah, I was happy. That's the story of my bike history. My personal bike. I've had other bikes. I've ridden my friends' bikes. I used to ride my friends' four-wheelers all the time. My friends had a Honda 350. That was kind of like a cross between like a utility and like fun little off-road one. And then my friend had a Yamaha Blaster. That thing was like a freaking 2-stroke race bike. That was tons of fun. It was a four-wheeler. Like, man, that was fun. We used to have like challenges. Like me and him were trying to see who could jump the highest and the farthest. And we ended up putting like a huge hill. We built a huge hill, like a track with like a rim and stuff. And this huge hill, we started putting bigger and bigger things. And eventually, we ended up putting a trash can on top of the hill. So as soon as you jump, like as soon as you hit the top of the hill, you're in the air. So I touched the trash can. I made it fall over. It was just an empty, like plastic trash can. And I was like, well, that was pretty damn good, man. That's the highest I've jumped so far. And then he tried it, and he cleared it by like centimeters. So he didn't hit it, so he won. But it was his bike. He rode it all the time. I used to do that stuff all the time, but I hurt my back big time. I worked for a moving company, and it was like a 4-story house, and they bought like the heaviest furniture ever, like the heaviest furniture I've ever seen, and I was on the bottom, so I had all the weight, and when we were climbing this staircase, I felt in my back like physically pop, and like I swear I heard like a pop, and I was like, I was in so much pain. It felt like somebody stabbed me in the back with a knife, punched me in the stomach, and kicked me in the balls all at the same time. I thought for sure that something was majorly wrong. So I ended up going to the hospital and, doing the whole thing. Turns out I had 2 slip discs and 2 herniated discs, and I ended up needing, like, all kinds of shit, like physical therapy and shots into it and stuff. And I should have got surgery, but I didn't. Ended up having to get workers' comp, and that was a whole fucking ordeal, trying to fight with workers' comp. You think they're on your side? They're on the company's side. Get a lawyer. That's my suggestion. Don't fight that shit yourself, because it don't go so well. I ended up having to get a lawyer because it wasn't working out for me. So just get a lawyer right away. What else? Yeah, I guess just have fun out there, but be safe, especially with the crown that's going around and everything. It's too much. It sucks. I know people want to go outside and do stuff. They can't. Some stuff's still closed. You know, I know that boats have been selling like hotcakes. RVs have been selling like hotcakes. And then motorcycles. People want to go outside and do stuff, but they can't. So you figure a boat, you're by yourself, you're on the water, so you're not really around people. An RV, again, you're just you and your family or whatever. And then motorcycles, you're by yourself. So obviously all those things are going to sell, and they have been. I wish I would have been a salesman, and I didn't even realize, I didn't think about it, but by making a killing this past year. 2020 has been a shitty year, but I always try to look at the bright side. It's already September, so the year's almost over. We got a whole new year coming up soon, and it's going to be better. It's going to be a much better year. That's what I believe, and that's what's going to happen. If you believe it, you know, have a positive attitude, life's a lot better. If you're a Debbie Downer, you're going to hate everything. That's not the way to go. So, some people have, you know, issues with things, like I have anxiety and stuff, but I've found lots of ways to cope. So, it was really bad from a particular job that I had, and it's like, it was so bad I ended up having to leave, and I went to a therapist, psychiatrist, I don't know, whatever one that gives you the, like, drugs, that one. I talked to him, and he's like, oh, here, take, Xanax, or, I don't know, whatever stuff you take for anxiety, and it works, but I didn't want to see you taking it all the time, because you get addicted to that shit, and it fucks you up, and when you take it, you feel different, you know, you get high from it. I didn't want that. So I stopped taking it, and I was like, well, I have, you know, half prescription left, so I'm not taking it for a month, and if we need to, we can take it again. My anxiety was like 10 times worse when I stopped. So it suppresses it, but dude, once you're done, holy shit, does it come back with the vengeance, and I don't like that. So I was like, I'm not taking this shit anymore. So I was like, well, let me see what I can do. There's something else I can get on, and all of it with, you know, drugs, and like, I didn't like it. So I learned coping techniques. So part of it is I catch an anxiety attack early on. That's like the number one thing. If you catch it early, you can suppress it pretty easily. So for me, it's the first sign I get is it feels like it's hard to breathe. Like it feels like almost like a chest is tight, or somebody sitting on my chest or something. So as soon as I feel that, I stop what I'm doing and I calm down. And I tell you, it would help like a lot. That's like the most natural thing. Meditate. I'm not kidding. Meditate. Listen to what I listen to is like chant, like monks chanting, like that kind of stuff. It's super smoothing. I just close my eyes, sit down, and just like either hum along with them or just listen to it and blank out my mind and concentrate on breathe in, breathe out. And trust me, in 5 minutes, 10 minutes, gone, completely gone. Now, I have also started taking CBD oil. There's lots of ways to take CBD, and I find for me personally, oil works the best. It kicks in the fastest. The next best thing would be CBD capsules, like the gel tabs. They kick in like a half an hour or hour, depending on your metabolism. and they're usually like 25 milligrams a tab, and that works pretty well. That's about what I take. I take like 28 actually. 25 is pretty close. So you take that, and it helps. It not only helps with anxiety, it helps with so many things. It helps with inflammation, helps with my lower back, helps with depression. It just makes you feel so much better. Makes you feel happy, like you just feel great. And it doesn't get you high, because, you know, I've smoked. I mean, who hasn't smoked weed? And yeah, it's great, but sometimes it made my anxiety worse. And like the ones that would make you have a body high when you smoke, I was good. That was great. I felt amazing. But you can't always count on that unless you're going to a clinic or something like that. So you get what you get, and you know the head high stuff would make you have anxiety. So I was like, well, I heard about CBD, and I did some research. I did a lot of research. I suggest if you're considering CBD, look into it. There's a lot of research to back it. There's both sides of it, but most of it's real. So, alright. So I was like, well, let me try it. I tried a joint. They have CBD flower, and I was like, yeah, I guess it's kind of like smoking buds, but I don't want to have to smoke something to feel better. Okay, well, I smoke cigarettes, and that can help, but technically, to me, when you get nicotine in my body, it calms me down, but it is raising your heart rate at the same time, so it's like, pros and cons. I don't want to smoke anything when I feel like, oh man, I need to calm down, I need something. So I was like, well, let me try the gummies. They're fucking awful. The gum, they taste fine, not that. They just don't work. You have to take like a handful of them if you're just going to eat them. Because you're not supposed to just swallow them. You're supposed to chew them up, and then you got to like suck on them and stuff for anything to happen. And it's like, well, how many milligrams are in a gummy? I don't fucking know. You have to do all this bullshit to find it out. Like, that's not going to work. So, no smoking, no gummies. Let me try the oil. So I was like, well, that seems like the next best thing. Well, they have like vape oil. You can do it that way. Again, I don't want to smoke anything. So I got sublingual. Sublingual means under your tongue. I got that oil, and so it's got like a quarter milliliter, half a milliliter, 3/4, and a milliliter. The whole eyedropper is a milliliter. So I usually do a whole eyedropper if, you know, it's just onset and it works. It makes it go away in 10 minutes tops. If it's like really bad, I take 2 eyedroppers, 2 milligrams, or 2 milliliters, which is about, the whole dropper, 1 milliliter, is about 26, 28 milligrams, which is perfect amount. So if you obviously double it, you know, as being 28, you got, what is that, 56? Yeah, 56. So, and you know, everybody's different. Everybody has different metabolisms and all that stuff. So they suggest, if you're doing the oil, you take like about half a dropper for your first time and see how you feel. You could always add more, but you can't, you know, take it back. So it doesn't get you high or anything, but the first time I tried it with the oil, it made me feel a little weird. I was like, this is a weird feeling. It kicks in so fast right away. So it's a little different, but after the first time, I felt nothing. Like it didn't give me any weird feelings or anything. It was just like, I felt normal. It was great. So I suggest oil. Next week, the place I go to now, I used to go up to this place in PA. They had RX Remedies. They had oil. It worked pretty well. But this new place I go to, Sterling Vape, just right down the street from my house, 5 minutes or so from my house. It's that's obviously a base place. They have a bunch of CBD stuff too. So the other place was a CBD like supply store, so they had a lot of CBD stuff. This is a vape store, but they have CBD stuff. They have pretty good bit. They have like lollipops, stuff like that. Personally, lollipop seems like a dumb idea because you have to keep using it. The whole lollipop is 25 milligrams, so you have to eat the whole thing before you feel better. So you're like, that's like for maintaining or something, I guess. Like throughout the day, you just need more. You put a lollipop, I guess. It just doesn't seem good enough. So for me, I was like, well, let me try this different brand. I forget what it is. I can put a picture up in the video. I tried it last night for the first time, different brand. It was supposed to be the same 500 milligrams for the whole container, and I think it's like 15 or 6, I think it's 16 milliliters for the whole container. So, and it was like $45. So the oil is a little pricey. It's more than like the gummies or anything like that. The pills are the most. You get I think it's 25 or 50. I'd have to ask next time I go in there. Pills are like $80. Either 25 or 30 or $80. It seems like a lot, but honestly, you end up getting more. So 25 milligrams times 25 milligrams times 30. Sorry. So yeah, let's see. I'm terrible at math, so we're gonna do the math. Okay. So 25 times 30. $750. So instead of getting 545 for 50, you're getting 750 for 80. So I guess it probably is about the same. Yeah, because it'll be 1,000 for 100, and for 80 you're getting 750. So yeah, that's about the same. But I want to try them because it's a pain to carry the oil with you. Because I hate this fucking circle for assholes. They just come down, me first, fuck you, me first. Yeah, because you can carry a capsule around with you. No problem, just throw it in your pocket, throw it in a little baggie or something. But the oil is a whole container, and you gotta unscrew it, and you gotta squeeze the dropper, and then put it on your tongue, and let the sublingual, you have to let it sit there for a minimum of 30 seconds. Should be a minute. So, like, it works great. It's very fast acting, but it only lasts for a couple hours. So I'm hoping that the pills will last most of the day. We'll see. You never know. But, yeah, I think that's about it for today. So, I really do hope you guys have enjoyed this little random vlog. You guys want to like see my gear and see what I got. Just bullshit around, you know. I had a nice ride. I've been out for, I guess I've been out for an hour and a half, almost 2 hours. That's pretty good. I don't know that all that footage will be in there. We'll see. It'll probably end up getting cut down when I'm just sitting there, sitting out lighter or something like that. I don't know. We'll see. But make sure you hit that subscribe button, smash that like button. That helps a lot. Leave a comment down below if you want to see a particular bike reviewed or, I don't know, anything. You want to see something in particular? You want to see more tricks? You want to see us, go to a particular location that's in Maryland? Just hit us up. Or, anywhere on the north. PA, West Virginia, anywhere around here, and we'll be down. And I'll be sure that when we go on a camping trip, I will take the camera and I'll show you some of the cool trails that we have. So there is some trails very, very, very few of them around here. They keep building freaking houses everywhere. But there's a couple trails that I've been meaning to go down, but it's just been so wet recently. That's part of the reason why I haven't been posting too many videos recently. It's just been raining like every fucking day, so I can't do any off-road stuff. That's why I've been doing a lot of like parking lots and stuff. We just don't have a choice. We just can't go off-road. As you can see, I mean, it's really cloudy today. Yesterday was worse. Yeah, yesterday, I don't even know where to go. I'm not going this way. It's like a good opposite direction to wherever I go. Oh man, I get distracted when I'm talking. Just in my head. So yesterday, I did the exact same thing I'm talking about right now, and I forgot to push record on the audio. The camera caught it all, but you couldn't hear me. It was like the first vlog. You could barely hear me talking. So I figured, well, hey, let's do it again tomorrow. I talked about the same kind of stuff. I talked about CBD. I talked about my gear. I don't remember what else I talked about. But I had those two main points that I wanted to talk about again today. Make sure I recorded. And I definitely recorded this time. I made sure I checked it. I pushed record. I say, hey, test. And then I listened to it. And we're good to go. So, make sure you hit that like button, smash that subscribe button, post a comment down below, and catch you in the next video. Peace!